Good day to you children, welcome to your science class. In the previous class we learnt about first and second Newton's laws of motion. In today's class we will be studying about Newton's third law of motion, and the statement of the law says that every action has equal and opposite reaction, which means there are two forces acting on two different bodies. In this case, in previous cases there was only one force and we defined and learned how to measure those that particular force, but in this case we will be having two bodies and there will be two different forces acting on each of these bodies, and these forces are known as action force and also as reaction force. So, here the statement every action has equal and opposite reaction means for every action force there will be an equal and opposite reaction force. For example, look at this rocket. The rocket, as you can see, it is to fly away, the rocket is applying force towards the ground or the launch pad through its exhaust. Since the exhaust applies force on the ground, that will be the action force, but the ground or the launch pad also exerts an opposite and equal force on the rocket. You can see that Tom applied some force on the door to close it, but the door also applied some force back on Tom and he flew away due to that force. So, here you can see that the action force is applied by Tomcat, whereas the reaction force is applied by the door. Now, let us look at some more examples on these action and reaction forces. Here you can see a tiger is running away, and why is this tiger running away? It is because you can see the tiger is applying some force on the ground, whereas the ground is also applying an equal but opposite force on the tiger. So, here action force is applied by the legs, whereas reaction force is applied by the ground while running or even while walking. Similarly, another example is firing a gun. Whenever you fire a gun, you can see that the gun is here.
Whenever you fire a gun,
part cut. So, here you can see in the third example that a biker he tries to kick a car, but instead he falls down but nothing happens to the car. Why it happens? The guy on the bike is applying an action force on the car, whereas the car is also applying a reaction force back on him. Now, let us look at few more examples. Here you can see that this test tube looking like guy is kicking the wall, but instead he gets hurt himself. Why it happens so? When you kick a wall, you apply some force on the wall, but at the same time the wall also exerts some amount of force on our leg, and because of that you feel hurt. Similarly, when you step on the stones, it hurts you, it pains you, because that happens because the stones, when you apply some force on the stones, that action force has an equal and opposite reaction force. That means the stones also apply an equal amount of force back on your foot. So, that is why what happens is that the more harder you kick or more harder you step on the stones, sharp stones, the more painful it is. Another example is these spring balances. Here you can see A is pulling the spring B, which has been fixed at one of the ends. Here B has been fixed at one of the ends, whereas A is free and is pulling the spring B. Here you can see that the measurements. The force which A is applying on B is the same force with which B is pulling A. So, force A is applying the action force here, whereas B is applying the reaction force. And lastly, you can see that the boy was the Newton. Here Newton is experimenting with a boy who is fitted in a cannon. So, the cannon fires the boy and it also moves back. So, here the cannon fired the boy which applied some action force, whereas boy also applied an opposite reaction force on the cannon. So here you can see for every action, that is the force with which the boy moves ahead, with the same force the cannon also moves back. There is an equal and opposite reaction. So now coming to law of conservation of momentum. In the previous class we learned that momentum is the product of mass and velocity. It gives total motion contained in the object. So here consider two bodies A and B having mass m1 and m2 moving with initial velocities u1 and u2 respectively in the same direction. So there are two bodies here. There are two bodies A and B. Mass of A is m1 and mass of B is m2. A and B are moving in the same direction with velocities u1 and u2. So this is before collision, and take u1 to be greater than u2 just for conventional purposes. And after some time t, both of these bodies collide. So when they collide, A exerts certain force on B and B will also exert certain force on A, because every action has equal and opposite reaction. So these are the forces. F1 is the action force and F2 is the reaction force. This is what happens during collision. So after collision, due to application of force on each other, after collision their velocities will change, and that will be v1 for A and v2 for B. They are final velocities. So now let us look at what is law of conservation of momentum. So for body A, for the first body, before collision the momentum is P I A. I is initial momentum of body A, P subscript I A is equal to m1 u1. The initial momentum of first body is m1 u1. After collision, the velocity changed after collision, right? So after collision its momentum is Pfa. Final momentum of body A, Pfa, is equal to m1 v1, where v1 is the final velocity. So thus the force exerted by body A in time t during the collision, we know that force is nothing but rate of change of momentum. So force exerted by A in time t will be F1. F1 for body A, F1 is equal to m1 v1 minus m1 u1, that is final momentum minus initial momentum whole divided by t. Take m1 common, so we get m1 v1 minus u1 whole divided by t. That is our equation 1. So similarly for body B, the force exerted would be in time t during the collision is F2 is equal to m2 v2 minus m2 u2 whole divided by t. Initial momentum of body B will be m2 u2 because mass is m2 and initial velocity is u2, whereas finally the velocity changes to v2. So the rate of change of momentum will be m2 v2 minus m2 u2 by t, which is nothing but force exerted by the body B. So taking m2 common, we get m2 into bracket v2 minus u2 whole divided by t. That is our equation 2. So from Newton's third law, what does Newton's third law say? That it says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. So if body A is exerting force F1 on body B, then body B will also exert a force equal to F1, that is force F2, which is equal to F1 on body A. So that is the reaction force. Here we can write mathematically, it can be written as F1 is equal to minus F2. Here minus shows that F2 is acting in the opposite direction of F1. So we know the values of expressions of F1 and F2 from our equations 1 and 2. So we get m1 of v1 minus u1 whole divided by t is equal to minus m2 of v2 minus u2 whole divided by t. So Tt cancels each other since both are in the denominators on opposite sides of the equal to sign. Tt gets cancelled. So on expanding we get m1v1 minus m1u1 is equal to minus m2v2 minus m2 into v2 minus m2 v2 minus into minus plus m2 u2. So rearranging we get m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. This is equation 3. The importance of this equation is that you can see on the left hand side we have both final momentums of both of the bodies A and B. m1 v1 final momentum of body A, m2 v2 final momentum of body B. Similarly, on the right hand side we have initial momentums. m1 u1 is the initial moment of body A and m2 u2 is the initial moment of body B. So here we have added both these momentums. We got to know that initial momentum of both the bodies is equal to final momentum, is equal to their final momentum, total final momentum. This is the law of conservation of momentum. So the third equation shows that the total momentum before collision and the total momentum after collision are equal. So this is the law of conservation of momentum. Just like when you say that energy is conserved, it means energy remains same before and after all the changes that can happen to the system. Similarly, momentum of any given system remains constant before and after any changes that takes place into it. So now let us look at few of the solved examples which have been given in your textbook. So the first question, it is about a pistol which is firing bullet. So as you can see here, when the pistol is fired, when the bullet comes out of the pistol, you can see that the pistol moves back. So look here, horizontally they have kept it, bullet goes forward and the pistol moves backward. This happens because the bullet is pushed out of the pistol with some force, and the same recoil force is acting on the pistol, which pushes it in the opposite direction. Action force is on the bullet and reaction force is on the pistol. So here the question is, a bullet of mass 20 gram is horizontally fired with a velocity 150 meter per second from a pistol of mass 2 kg. What is the recoil velocity of the pistol? So here we know that mass of the bullet is 20 grams and it is moving with after firing, not before. After firing, it moves with a velocity of 150 meter per second. So, and the mass of the pistol is 2 kilograms. So, what is the recoil velocity? The velocity with which the pistol moves backward. We have to calculate that. So, solution given for the bullet. First, let us consider the bullet. Here we have two bodies. One is bullet and the other is pistol. Both have different masses and both have different velocities, different initial and final velocities. So here we can apply the law of conservation of momentum to solve the problem. So here first, for the bullet, mass m1 is equal to 20 grams, and converting it into SI, that is into kilograms, we get 0.02 kilograms. Initially the bullet was at rest. So initial velocity is u1 is equal to 0 meter per second. Before firing, the bullet was at rest in the pistol. So its initial velocity is 0 meter per second. Whereas the final velocity v1, here they are given, after firing 150 meter per second, it moves with this velocity of 150 meter per second. So v1 is 150 meter per second. Now for the second body, that is our pistol, for the pistol m2 is equal to 2 kilograms, that has been given. u2 initial velocity, initially the pistol was also at rest in the arm of the person who fired. So u2 is 0 meter per second, and what we have to find here is the recoil velocity, that is the velocity of the pistol after the collision happens, or the or the change happens to the system. So, final velocity V2 is equal to how much? We have to find the recoil velocity, that is final velocity of the pistol. So, from the law of conservation of momentum, we have m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2. We derived this equation just now. m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2. m1 v1 plus m2, we derived the law just now. From that we have m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. So, now put the values of m1, m2, u1, u2 and v1 to find v2. So, here m1 is 0.02 kg and v1 is 0, u1 is 0, plus here I have taken the reverse order, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m2 m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So, 2 kilograms into 0 is equal to the same thing, 0.02 into 150, that is the final velocity, plus 2 into v2, that is the final velocity of the pistol. So, on solving where 0.02 into 0 0 plus 2 into 0 0 0 0 0 is equal to 0.02 into 150, we get 3 plus 2 into v2. So, on transposing, minus 3 is equal to 2 into v2. So, it is on dividing, we get v2 is equal to minus 1.5. Thus, the recoil velocity of the pistol is minus 1.5 meter per second. Here, this negative sign shows that the pistol is moving in the opposite direction to the bullet. You can see that here too, when the bullet moves forward, whereas the pistol moves backward. That is why it is known as recoil velocity. Now, coming to the second example, a girl of mass 40 kg jumps with a horizontal velocity of 5 meter per second onto a stationary cart. Stationary means the cart is at rest. Cart means a skateboard. Alright, onto a stationary cart with frictionless wheels. So therefore, there is no frictional force acting on the cart. We can neglect that. The mass of the cart is 3 kg. What is her velocity as the cart starts moving? Assume there is no external unbalanced work in the horizontal, unbalanced force working in the horizontal direction. So, solution given for the girl. First, here also once again we have two bodies, one is the girl and the other is the cart or the skateboard. For the girl, m1 is equal to 40 kg, her mass is 40 kg and her initial velocity is 5 meter per second. Now, for the cart, m2, its mass is m2 is equal to 3 kg and its initial velocity, stationary cart, they have told us the cart is at rest. So, its initial velocity is 0 meter per second. So, final velocity of the girl and the cart, we have to calculate how much with how much velocity both the girl and the cart will move after she jumps on it. So, initial momentum of the system. First, let us calculate their momentums, how much total momentum the system. So, initial momentum of the system will be P1 is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. So, where m1 is 40, that is the mass of the girl, we know everything. So, just substitute the values, we get initial momentum is 200 kg meter per second. So, finally, what happens? The girl stands on the cart, so their masses add up. So, after the girl jumps, the final momentum of the system will be P2, that is P2 is equal to m1 plus m2 of v, that is the velocity. m1 plus m2 is 40 plus 3, 43 times v, 43 into v. The v here we are adding the masses because the girl jumps and stands on the cart. So, their masses will add up. So, whatever velocity the girl has, the cart also has the same amount of velocity. So, now from the law of conservation of momentum, we know that P1 is equal to P2, that is the law of conservation of momentum. The initial momentum is equal to final momentum. So, P1 is equal to P2. So, 43 into V is equal to 200 kg meter per second. So, from there we get V is equal to 200 by 43, which is 4.65 meter per second. Here you can see that there is no negative sign to the velocity. It means the velocity with which the girl and the cart move is 4.65 meter per second in the initial direction. Starting both of them move in the same direction in which direction the girl was also moving initially. So, moving ahead, I have given you a homework, that is the third solved example from your textbook. Two hockey players of opposite teams, while trying to hit a hockey ball on the ground, collide and immediately become entangled. One has a mass of 60 kg and was moving with a velocity of 5 meter per second, while the other has a mass of 55 kg and was moving faster with a velocity of 6 meter per second towards the first player. In which direction and with velocity, how will they move after they become entangled? You have to determine how much their final velocity is and in which direction they will move. They will continue to move. If the velocity is positive, then they will be moving in the initial direction. If it becomes negative, then they will be moving in the opposite direction. Assume that the frictional force acting between the feet of the two players and the ground is negligible. That is, take friction force to be completely absent. So, this here completes your chapter Force and Newton's laws of motion. From the next class, we will start a new chapter, that is gravitation. So, for this chapter, remember you have to write the notes and also solve the blue questions and also the exercises of this chapter, and do not forget to draw the diagrams wherever it is necessary. So, that is all for today. Thank you.